republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, be with us today as we deliberate the business of the county. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind best interests of our residents, Lord, our taxpayers. Help us to keep in mind the farmers, Lord. Let's get some, the rain helps, but we need dry ground now so we can get the crops in the ground, be with them. Be with our taxpayers, Lord. It's a time to pay our taxes, and I know sometimes that's a bit of a stress. So help those folks, Lord, and just help us to deliberate this business and do it in a way that's pleasing to you. Ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, I think we're recording here.
I think so. Well, Darren's off there, so that must mean it went live.
Okay. Good deal. Let's start with minutes.
I looked over them. I didn't see any additions or corrections, Stan.
Yeah,
You're good.
I'm good with that.
I move to accept.
Second.
Motion passes. He's still settling in here, but whenever he gets his computer up and going, we'll
Yeah,
start
I
with
think
auditor
it's finally
report.
there.
Okay.
Crickets. Alrighty. First thing I have is the Allied weekly health insurance claims. Hold on a second.
We need to turn the camera on there.
Yeah.
Should be on, yeah, it's recording. now.
Okay, very good.
The Allied weekly health insurance claims are 112,590.24. 112,590.24. That is all medical.
That's up a little bit.
Any problem with that, Stan?
No, it is what it is, I guess.
Making a motion?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Good. Motion passes, and you've checked all those, Tony, that they were
Yes, I verified the claimants.
verified the claimants. Okay.
Failed to mention that, but I have it in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Next is payroll claims. And the payroll claims are in the amount of 391,751.02. 391,751.02.
Move that we accept payroll claims for 391,251.02.
I'll second that. Is this a long month? Do we have? Forget what they.
I think that's about normal. After the wage increase we had for this year.
All right.
That motion passes.
And you should have received via email the payroll time card approval for appointed department heads.
You guys get a chance to look at the
I
time
did.
cards?
I did. I have no comment or adjustments or questions.
I'll make a motion to approve those, and I do want to say I appreciate Shannon, the clarification you gave on some of those questions we had.
Okay, I'll second Stan's motion.
Okay, motion passes. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I emailed you all the monthly clerk report prior to this meeting. You'd want to enter that into the record.
So moved.
Second.
Motion passes. Clerk report.
And I laid before you prior to the start of the meeting, the monthly report from the treasurer. If you would also like to take a look at that and enter that into the record.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I know I was up there this morning. They were busy collecting taxes, so.
Yep. And that is all I got. I challenge the engineer and the highway to go as quick.
Challenge is accepted. We'll
Challenge
see how that
accepted?
goes. Maybe not by your terms, but,
Nate, what have you got for us this morning?
Just remember, Beth's watching.
no, all right, no. He may be quick, but I think mine's more money. I don't know. We'll see. He'll pick the place, I'll pick the weapon.
It's pretty close, so.
Yeah, no, first thing on is the countywide bridge inspection contract. This is covering calendar years 2026 through 2029. NDOT has approved the agreement between the county and USI for those 4 years. The total for that contract is set up as a not to exceed for $476,633.03. I've been through the agreement a couple of different times, looking at different areas, what we could try to do. Unfortunately, because of some changes in federal highway standards and specifically to the specifications for the National Bridge Inventory, there are a typical bridge inspection report might be 4 pages. The talk is that there might even be as many as a 12-page report for each bridge. So even how we submit those and how they're going to be delivered to us completely changes. So where you might have 1 book, you might have 4 books as far as physical copies of those going in the future.
Do they have more things to inspect?
There's more things to inspect. There's more terms for each of the things that are being inspected. So it is a wholesale change. Many of the consultants that I've talked to we're expecting significant double-digit increases in the cost for each county. I think thankfully for us, we've worked with USI before as a county, and I have worked with them in my role elsewhere. So the increase is and was reasonable for what we're looking at. Unfortunately, it's still high. Thankfully, this is eligible for an 80% reimbursement grant through federal highway. So the cost of the county over that 4 years should be approximately $95,326.61 using that same math. So we're not absorbing 100% of that cost, but it is unfortunately the cost of meeting the federal requirements for those inspections.
So we will have to pay the full amount.
So, yep, so what I'll have to do is I'll budget the 476 because that's the money that will go out. As the money has gone out, proof of payment, and I'll issue reimbursement claims back to Federal Highway or to the NDOT, and then we'll get paid back our the 80%.
Is that a one-time payment?
No, it's really, I need to be sending requests out about every quarter, depending on the frequency of the bills, just so that we stay current with Federal Highway. So it's sort of a rolling cost. So it's not like we pay 100% of that out and get paid at the very end. Actually, as those costs go out within probably a quarter, so about every 3 months, I'm getting reimbursed back. So that's my intent. So I keep those moving. So
Good.
Okay, so you're comfortable with the contract we've got in front of us then, and
yep, I'm satisfied with that. I would recommend your approval on it. And Steve, you have a copy of that agreement in front of you for signatures.
I moved
questions,
to-
guys?
I don't have any more discussion. Stan, you good? Okay, I move that we accept Nate's recommendation.
Second.
okay, that motion carries.
Thank you. Next item here is just an update on the small structure inspection contract. Doug, you had mentioned, last week, and I was in error on one of the statements. I said it was a 4-year agreement, and it's actually a 3-year. The way that agreement works is we do 2 townships each year. So 2, 4, 6. So we end up doing about half the county in that 3-year contract. And then after we've done half the county, then it would be up for renewal. Last year, we inspected Blue Creek and Monroe townships. This year, we're scheduled to inspect St. Mary's and Union. And then the year after that would be Kirkland and Washington. On the sketch you had, you can see those 6 townships marked out with the dates as far as what years. And also on top of that, the blue, green, and red dots are actually the small structures in each of that area. That's a clip of the current GIS system that we have laid out with Ethan. So I have that tool now. I've been going through and calibrating that, doing some work on it. But that is kind of the structure that we have right now, trying to keep this numbers of structures consistent. Nice part about doing that over the 2 townships in those years is hopefully the construction projects will stay a little more consolidated in the future. I'm not asking them to go from the northwest to the southeast in the future.
JSE, it's,
Jensen Spawns Engineering, they were at the most recent, some of their reps were at the Mayor's Commissioners Conference that we
yeah,
hosted
okay,
last
I remember
month.
that.
So their representatives were there. So we worked with them, for a number of years. I've worked with them on small structures. They've done a pretty good job for us, so I've been satisfied, but we are not quite at the halfway point. We will, once they've done these inspections, we'll be essentially halfway through that agreement. And then I would say sometime in 26, mid-26, we'll have to decide if we're
Contract
going
again.
to do the contract again or modify that agreement as far as how we tackle it.
This may be a question out of me being naive, but let's say they inspect 20 structures.
Mhm.
And out of those, they find 15 structures that are in excellent condition, show no signs of corrosion, weakness, anything else, just excellent condition. Does a structure like that need to stay in rotation for inspection, or can they put that off and say, you know what, we're good for 10 years on those?
Yep. So the way this is set up right now is the structures only would be inspected on a 6-year rotation. So there'll be a 6-year gap between when they look at it at one point and then another. That seemed like a reasonable duration for it, because every bridge is inspected on a 2-year cycle. This is essentially 3 times that duration, so a lot can happen in that 6-year period. That's why it seemed reasonable to try to accommodate that.
To
If there's not
inspect
one.
every structure.
And to every structure, and that is only every structure that is in that 36-inch and larger. There are some that are smaller, but they're larger water sets, and so we're still weeding out some of the smaller structures at that point. But then as I start kicking those out, then they end up falling into where the highway department does more of the maintenance repair. So that's something that I work out with Brad and Paul as far as where the bottom end structures would be, whether I inspect them or not. If we extend it, that certainly would shorten our cost, but it would increase the risk because there's nobody else looking at those. It doesn't mean that I couldn't inspect them, and with this tool, we own that data at that point. So it's something that I now have as an app on my phone to take photographs and then update the inspection reports myself. So that if there is an emergency issue, I can go out there in the field immediately, go out there, update those reports myself, and then I can send that to the same engineer to.
For example, if it
update
gets
locally.
damaged or whatever.
Crash reports, those sort of things, then I can make a quick and immediate reaction to that. So 6 years seemed reasonable, because you're only gonna get in a 60-year lifespan, you're only gonna look at it 10 times from an independent source. So that seemed like a pretty reasonable span, and the cost for these is significantly less than the same inspection reports, because we've come up with our own format that is much shorter and smaller than what is going on with these National Bridge reports.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
So you actually signed a 3-year contract with J.S. Jansen?
Yep.
So then, when the 3rd year comes up, then you review their performance and
correct.
either recommend going with them again or
Yeah, we could solicit
considering
additional
other
proposals.
engineering firms? Is that the way it works? Okay.
Yep. And so with this system, as we've got it set up, because it's on our server, so working with Ethan and our IT department to put this on there, really what it is it's very easy to make this modular. So if we wanted to go with another firm for the inspections, let's say we worked with Jansen Spawn for the countywide bridge inspection and then switched the hats from USI to Jansen Spawn and vice versa, I could give the login data to a USI inspector, and they would have 100% of that data, and they would have credentials to make those edits.
We own
So-
it. We own the data.
We own the data, so if there's no migration costs, where you see that often where, well, they have the data, so starting up with this firm, there's this big cost of entry to start up with a new firm or change that. We don't have that at this point.
Good.
So all that data is ours, so I can do those inspections. We can have another firm do that very quickly, very easily. Ethan can create a credential based on their email address. I can have 1, 2, 3. I want to limit the number of access points to our system, obviously for security reasons, but that's going to save us a lot of money in the long term.
Very good.
So, but I know Doug, you had made some questions or asked some questions, and I didn't have good answers for you, so I wanted to
Okay,
go through
I
that. So
appreciate
this
it.
will give you a good rundown for it.
Right.
Thanks, Nate.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Nate. Nope. I don't.
Thank you.
Paul, what have you got for us?
Just a couple things, a couple permits and some updates. Two permits, both from Brightspeed this morning to start off with. They're both for our projects for the highway department. One of them is for removing some lines and poles for the twin pipes out on 650 West for Nate's project. And the other one is for removing service on 400 South, that road that we're gonna build and chip seal, hopefully starting here soon. So I didn't know if you want to do them both together since they're both for the same company.
Have you went out and looked at it?
Yeah, and it's on our projects, like I said, so we asked them to move their stuff, so that's why
Oh.
they're doing the work for us.
What township?
One would be, let's see, Hartford Township, and the other one is, yeah, they both be Hartford. Nope, I take it back, French and Hartford. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
You will second Stan's motion. We're talking about both of them,
Motion
right?
carried, that motion passes, both of them, yeah.
And the rest of what I have is just some updates for you. Buggy plates, they've sold as of this morning, 1,854 plates out of around the 2,700 mark that we sold last year. Those are still on sale until the 15th, so next Thursday is the last day for that. Before there's a late fee. Also, the dust control is on sale until the 15th at $296 a foot, so that's the last day to purchase dust control. If you're into that.
On plates, somebody asked me last night, did you extend office hours for those?
No, we don't. Next week, we start our 4 10-hour days, so they get some later hours, Monday through Thursday. So they can come in an hour earlier, or they can come in an hour later than normal.
Okay, cause yeah, I had an Amish friend that asked me if there could be.
They always ask about Saturdays, and I guess in the past, the girls have tried to do Saturdays, and they might get 1 or 2. So
Oh,
it's not hardly worth the man hours for no more than come in, so.
Usually it's like everybody else, they'll make it work.
You know, we all have to go to the license branch during their open hours. So
Yeah.
same-
right.
Same difference. Let's see, the other thing, just a couple updates there, 400 South, the one we're doing the road conversion on, the first one. If it would quit raining, we're ready to start.
Okay.
We're ready, we got
Good.
road marked out. We're moving equipment out there today to stage it at one of the farmers there, so we just need to quit raining.
Yeah.
And my last update is Brooks Construction is planning on starting sometime around the 21st with paving that 300 north, the community crossings road this year, so they're
Oh,
gonna start.
Gone west.
Yep,
Yeah.
going
Will
west
there
from
be
27 to the county line. They're gonna start this Friday, and with the rain that's pushed it back until somewhere around the 21st, so.
On that stretch, out of curiosity, how many stops are there? Is there just one, is there one stop sign between 27?
No,
No, it's straight through?
straight through, no,
Good deal.
no stops.
Good deal.
will there be any closures while they're doing that?
They probably will only do the surface coat. They'll close it a mile at a time as they do it. Cause I try to request that they do full width, so we don't have the seam in the middle, cause we've had trouble in the south. The buggy wheel gets in that seam, and then pretty soon you got a groove, and then it frosts and freezes, and now you got a pothole. So I try to, if they can reach a full width, I ask for a full width top coat.
And when that's finished, that'll be an actual paved surface.
It'll be a paved surface. Yeah, they're gonna wedge and level it, and then top, and then surface it.
Very good.
So I didn't think the pipe crew is finishing the last pipe out there, so all the crossing and everything's been done, so we don't have to go back out there and open the road.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
That's all I have for you.
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Rick, what have you got for us this morning? Good morning.
Hey, Rick.
Well, just give you some updates. I walked with a gentleman by the name of Dan Schinkel, engineer for the structure of the courthouse. We're all over the building. So I asked him how soon he could get a report back. He said he'd try to get it back by next week.
Wow,
That's good.
that's sooner than I thought.
He would try. But I would- But anyway, I think it went well.
Good.
Last week, one evening, myself and Judd Myers, we got that compressor.
No, came off the boat. Huh?
We did notice, he did. That particular unit, there's a, call it a block heater, which we don't need it right now, but I told him to order it. Because in the winter time, we're gonna need that. And I asked him to check the rest of them. But it's kind of hard to check those till they really go out. So, anyway, that's fixed. Fire extinguisher, annual fire extinguisher testing was done at both Superior and Circuit. I did get, Transportation Golden
Right.
Meadows, that's taken care of.
Yeah. Out at,
Last Friday.
Council on Aging.
We met with Michelle, she was out there when
Right.
we did it, so.
We've got our occupancy permit for that, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe she got it a week, that Friday last week. Or maybe it was just that week she got it,
We should have a ribbon cutting for that.
but they do have, they're good now. Occupancy.
Good.
I think, she had mentioned to me, she was wanting some surveillance cameras out there. Which I think she's already in tune with.
Sure.
Um, As far as that bill, that,
For the fire extinguishers.
do you want me to, how do you want me to?
You know, it really is a county building. I would just, I think, I wonder where we're at in overall
How do
construction
you do
costs.
the other extinguishers?
Well, I have it, it's kind of, I have it on a contract and I did put that on the rotation.
Okay.
So when the two courthouses get done, this building gets done in August, two courthouses, Circuit and Superior. It gets checked every April, so that will too.
That would be for the inspection though. We're
Yeah.
talking about the purchase of the
Yeah,
fire
that's
extinguishers,
what I'm talking.
the initial purchase. I'd get with Mark Wynn and see what's left in that budget. See if there's anything left in that construction budget
If not.
between Mark and Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ones and twosy things, but that's all I got.
How's things with your new office down there? Anywhere
Good.
closer to?
Yeah, IT's been kind of busy with Geneva and things, and I haven't harped on. Pretty much, I'm ready to go in there. But I wanted them to be here, because when I start moving it,
Oh,
make sure
sure.
everything works, the jacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It's just a matter of, really, I'll get my desk moved down there, and that other stuff, I can just kind of move gradually. Okay. I'm pretty much ready.
Well, hopefully that's a good move for you, being kind of everybody
It's been
together.
a while.
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Anything else for Rick?
I don't, thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, Tim Ramsey, Bi-County Services. Here for our annual update. Morning, Tim.
Morning.
Thank you.
Usual information here.
Okay, Tim, thank you.
Summary and financials.
Thanks, Tim.
Annie? It's been 2 years since our last request for an increase, so we are asking for one this year. It's 5% for $2,270, which is a little bit less than what the inflation rate was for the last 2 years. This money does not come out of the general fund, it comes out of the developmental disability appropriation bucket, so. As far as our challenges, staffing is still, we're kind of right where we were, maybe increased a little bit, which is good to have it stable instead of the direction we were going. We're looking at considering a pay rate this increase this year. Our beds have stabilized too. We were down pretty low years ago and stuff, but now we were full. I think we got 2 right now that are open. And we did have 2 of the gold medals folks
Right.
that joined us. And stuff,
Right.
So
Right.
really
Appreciate
nice
that.
people.
Yep.
And then we were very thankful for the Indiana legislature and what they did with Medicaid, because that's how we're funded is Medicaid. So they actually didn't cut anything, but now we're on to the Fed
Right.
and who knows what's gonna go on there.
Sure.
So anyway, we will see. This year we're positive about $216,000, and then last year we were negative about 180. Like the way this year's going better than last year, but the year before that was really a tough one. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what's changed, Tim? Can you tell us what causes those swings for you?
As far as financially.
Yeah, financially.
Well, one thing, we got an increase, a substantial increase in one side of our business, which
Okay.
is supported living waiver rates that we received.
Okay.
We hadn't really received anything just to run the business since like 1998. And then we've received a large rate increase there. And then they had planned on giving us a 2% increase each year, but that 2% got set to the side before we even got out of the starting gate with the increase
Okay.
itself. So anyway, so that was a huge factor right there. Having our beds filled is critical too, because we're still paying for the same amount of labor to run the house and everything. And if you don't have the beds filled for that income, because we don't get paid if there's nobody in there.
Right.
That's $10,000 to $11,000 per bed per month.
How many beds do you have?
35 in our residential side, yeah.
You have, on those beds, you designate at least a certain number for Adams County people, or do you just whoever comes, who first come, first serve primarily?
The state controls all that. As we have openings, we inform them, well, they know everything.
Okay.
I mean, we have massive oversight, so they know everything
They
that we're
know
doing. And so if there's an opening, they will send us packets of information for us to read. We look at those and make sure that the folks that they're sending actually are a good fit for the people that we have. Some of our folks are very fragile in that, so, you don't want somebody, that's really physical or something to be in there, so.
But
yeah.
most of your clients are Wells and Adams people, or is it you cover a wider area than?
No, just Adams and Wells are the only counties that we cover, yes.
Okay.
You were able to help us with some of our Golden Meadows.
They took
residents.
two, right?
Didn't
Yeah,
it?
we
Two
ended up
Golden
with
Meadows
two of them,
residents.
yeah.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, both, I've gotten both, they're both really nice
Good.
folks, they're, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're glad they're there. So,
Good fits into your
They are very
program.
good fits, yeah,
Good.
very nice
Good.
people.
That was that we were fortunate that we were able to find good fits for those
Sure.
folks. And each one of them, I think, improved their situation by the folks that you got in your, they needed to be in a higher level of care.
And they both have commented how happy they are with their,
Yeah.
and where they live now. And one guy actually had lived in this neighborhood that he's in now
I'll be
when he
darned.
was younger.
Uh,
And so he's like, it was like coming home for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Good.
you just never know how to work. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
works. So,
Yeah,
Great.
so,
that's really all that I have to present.
Okay.
Unless you've got any other questions.
Well, over the years, I've come to know Pike County Services as a very, very good organization that serves people that need service.
It's a blessing we have you in
Yeah,
our
we have-
community. Appreciate the work that you do and
We
certainly.
appreciate your support, that's
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and,
So-
and with that being said, the new amount requested I see is 47,678, correct, Sam?
Correct.
And that's with a 5% increase.
Right.
I think that's a super investment for Adams County, so, Stan, if you don't have a problem, I'll make a motion to approve that amount.
well, especially, no, I'll second that. We've got 53 residents that you're Adams County residents that you're serving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to support that.
Good. So that motion passes. So thanks for the update. Anything else, Tim, you need to tell us or
No?
appreciate?
Just
I'll
One
certainly work.
question I have.
Yes, sir.
Are you still working with some of the Amish population or,
We do, yes.
okay,
Yeah, we even have some Amish staff. in
good,
that,
great,
and do an excellent job.
I'll be darned.
fantastic.
Didn't know that.
Okay,
Good to
We
know.
do.
that's great. Well, appreciate it, Tim.
Good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming over.
Chances are council will approve this as well.
Okay.
this will go in the commissioner's budget for 26, and then the council approves the budget, so
Sure.
if they approve that, then we're.
So, yeah, and I present next week
Yeah,
to the
Yeah.
council. So, yeah, okay. Well, thank
Very
you
good,
very much.
Tim. Thank you. As soon as Max gets done with this conversation, we'll get Max up here. I don't know. I don't think
doubt
so.
it.
but, Morning, Max.
Hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
Max, tell us what you're here looking for and how we can help.
All right, I'm here representing Decatur Main Street. We're having downtown Decatur Day, June 21st. And we're having, this year we added a car show to it. And we originally, but today the city kind of threw a little wrench in part of it, but we were gonna run the car show like around the courthouse, and we wanted to borrow parking lot just north of Superior Court, you know, for part of the car show. Now, the city today said we can't close Third Street either. So we'll probably, hopefully, if you guys will agree, we'll run it down Port Street and into the parking lot there across from Superior Court. I mean, we'll clean it up afterwards. We can put up some signs like the night before, ask people not to park in there. Kind of thing. It's just like for a day thing, Saturday, June 21st. Just borrow the courthouse parking.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's not like it's a business day.
No, appreciate that. So I guess we need a motion to approve that use.
Some of,
Okay,
Second.
Stan, Doug, thanks. Piece of cake, Max, there you go.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have fun.
What will the be time on that?
Well, the downtown Decatur Day is, from, I think 9 or 10 till 3. But we would probably, you know, start bringing cars in the morning, like 6, or it's not, it's like, starting at 7 o'clock.
9 to
but-
3 is basically.
But 9 to 3 is downtown. Decatur
Okay,
Day.
okay.
Yeah. And Second Street's gonna be closed for vendors and all those
Okay.
things.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Okay, see you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
yeah,
Have a zoning change. Clayton, are you gonna present on that, or do we
Yeah.
need to try and track Mark down?
Nope, I got it.
Okay,
So back on April 23rd, MHS Enterprises, doing business as Hilti Lumber, appeared before the Plan Commission, wanting to requesting a rezone of the property located at 476 West 350 South to be changed from agricultural to C3, which is general commercial. I have here from the Plan Commission that the Adams County Plan Commission hereby certified the rezoning described to the Board of Commissioners. And they provide a due pass recommendation with a vote 6-0.
I sat in on that,
Again, and it's-
conversation. It's
Okay.
no problem.
makes sense to make that change.
Right.
it's been a business as long as I can ever remember.
Yeah.
So I move,
Like,
Clayton, I
Time to
move,
Just
clean that up.
inappropriately zoned. Yeah.
I move that the commissioners go ahead and stamp the, plan commission's recommendation.
We'll have
And
an ordinance with it.
What I have is, so to make that rezone official, I'm just presenting, Adams County Ordinance 2025-6, which short title reads an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners, County of Adams, State of Indiana, which rezones the property at 476 West, 350 South, County of Adams, State of Indiana. Again, the specifics go through what I just read, that it will be rezoned from A as an agricultural to C3 general commercial. And exhibit A to that ordinance is the legal description. And then I believe also we'll make sure that obviously the due pass recommendation is on file.
Okay, Tony, I'll add to my motion that it's, ordinance 2025-6.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any public comment before we close the voting? Okay,
Just out of curiosity,
motion passes.
is there an advantage to them by changing the zoning?
Well, I mean, one, it's probably, someone probably dinged them, or I mean, it's required, for one. But yeah, there can be, that's more honestly an accountant question. I think there can be certain tax implications as to, for property taxes related to how your property's taxed and how it's zoned.
Might have had to do something with, they were gonna reconstruct one of their buildings too, I think during.
It needed to be properly zoned so they could get the proper permitting. I think what actually has occurred is, they've been A's in agricultural for so long because, they had it listed as that before our zoning ordinance came into effect. So they were sitting as a non-conforming use, which is okay. I'm sure now that they wanted to make some changes.
Sure.
The plan commission and Mark said,
Plus
well,
they get the zoning
you have
cleaned
to
up.
rezone first.
Good.
Okay,
deal.
very good.
I do not have anything else unless, I guess is a just a status update, the Riverbend litigation related to the trailer park, up north of the county. The parties, at least between the county entities, the planning commission and the commissioners came to an agreement, and so, that litigation is no more.
So we're done there.
I had a question on, you were gonna put together a qualified offer letter for the
Yes.
landowners on 800 North.
And I'm gonna try to get at least a proposed letter, a general form letter, that will obviously be changed with the specifics for each owner. I'll hope to have that for you next week.
I'll get a copy of that ordinance.
Good deal. Any other questions for Clayton?
I have none.
I'm just looking real quick and.
Sure.
Yeah, I apologize on the delay on that, Stan.
Yeah.
Mark's gone, so
Yeah.
I joked with Doug, I'm doing the work of 4 attorneys this week.
And you're doing a fine job. by the
Oh,
way.
thank you so
Let me just tell
much.
you- Let me
That's
just tell you
because
that.
it's his youth.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I know.
And in your spare time, you're taking care of a little girl, so.
That's the fun part.
There you go. Okay.
17 months now.
Wow.
Shannon, what have you got for us this morning?
I don't have anything, but thank you.
Nothing this morning?
Good deal.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
How about you guys? Anything for the good of the cause? Stan, Doug?
No, I'm good.
Just a reminder, on May 16th, we are having our next IT/change committee meeting. If, just kind of want to keep update on what your expectations are going into that meeting and coming out of it. If you've got things that you would like to see, questions you would like to have answered. I've set a rough agenda of things to decide, so feel free to get a hold of me before that meeting, so. Other than that, I do appreciate the structural engineer coming down for the sake of evaluating our courthouse. When we get that report back, I'd like to set up a meeting with you and the architects and Clayton and Mark and review that report and kind of
Right.
have that discussion, so
Begin
that'll
the
be.
path of trying to figure out what our next steps are there.
Yeah.
Good
So,
deal. I think it'd be great. Anything from the public?
Trey, you got. Trey back there.
Okay, Trey, you got info for us?
Yeah, real quick, gentlemen.
Okay.
Good morning, Adams County Commissioners. Just following up on the veteran give back program that's been
Uh-huh.
floating around the county. It's been confirmed with the IDBA that this is indeed a scam.
Okay.
So don't entertain the phone number on here, or the website. I know it looks good, but yeah, please don't.
I saw that come out and you sent an email out
Yeah.
identifying that as being a scam, so I
Yeah, correct,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
So, yeah, if we can get the word out about that, I know I'm still getting questions on it. Yeah, so really that's about it. Other than that, we do have some details about the annual conference coming up. I'm gonna forward those to you. That was from the district service officer, Cameron Lochner. So, if you guys have any questions on that, please feel free to let me know.
So will that legislation, that was passed down at the state, be any big changes for
With
you?
the 433, I believe.
I think-
I expect that'll be a big topic, as I said last week, so. As of right now, we're kind of all in the same boat, there's a lot of uncertainty, so. But like I said, I'm sure, cause IDBA puts this on, and it definitely involves them and the director there, so I'm sure that. the
So they'll
director
have
will-
some updates for
Sure.
it.
Yeah,
Good.
definitely, so,
So you'll bring that back to us and
definitely.
loop us back into that.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely. Other than that, that's all I had, that was
Well,
the big
why
thing.
don't
just
you
to
get
word on this.
with our media here and make sure that they can help us out, spread the word on that scam. That's,
Yeah. No, definitely.
it's always somebody out there trying to
Thanks, Trey.
Take advantage of us.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Trey.
The current balance in that transportation garage
Uh-huh.
thing,
Uh-huh.
current balance 62,192.66.
Okay.
But there's still invoices.
Who knows what kind of invoices are still coming in
So
there,
Mark will
so
have to answer.
maybe Mark can help us understand whether there's still gonna be any money left in there or not. Okay. Looks like the sheriff's on the phone on something back there. Anything for sheriff?
Nope, all good.
Okay. Okay, guys, if nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.